Q1057 Albany's rock station. I'm Steve King and joined by Steve Gorman, former drummer of the Black Crowes, now part of Trigger Hippie. They have a brand new album out called Full Circle and Then Some. It's really good. And he's got a memoir out about the Black Crowes. It's called Hard to Handle: The Life and Death of the Black Crowes, a memoir, which is a fantastic read. Steve, it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
I've been a fan for many, many years and had the opportunity to sit down this week and listen to the new Trigger Hippie song and album, Full Circle and Then Some, and really enjoy it, man.
Oh, right on. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much.
I know the first album was well received. What's the reception been like for this album?
So far, so good. The same thing. You know, I've seen some reviews, and those are all positive. But the thing I'm getting back from people more often than not is, hey, it's a whole album. Like, every song is pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, there's that mindset of, well, I'm sure the first two songs will be good, and then the rest is background music. But you know, this is it's definitely a collection of completed, wholly self-sufficient songs, if you will. So I'm thrilled with it. I think we accomplished all that we were trying to do. And a lot of times when you have a set of goals for an album, it's not linear. It's not something you can necessarily put into straight sentences on a piece of paper. But we knew what we were going for, and I think we found it.
Well, and it sure sounds like a good situation from everything I've read. In the studio, you guys had fun. You enjoyed what you were doing. It was a collaborative effort.
Oh, very much so. I mean, it's if anything, my goal for Trigger Hippie is for it to be just that. You know, every band has a Venn diagram, and that center circle, you don't necessarily have to have equal shares, but everybody has to be really happy with whatever their share is, on a simple level. And everybody in Trigger Hippie contributes everything they have, and we've figured out how to make it work. So it's just fantastic. I'm thrilled with it.
And you guys have a tour planned, and we've actually got a couple of New York dates here, so you're going to be pretty close to us. November 2nd in Woodstock, which is awesome, and then November 5th, you're going to be New York City.
Yeah, we sure are, and then Jersey City on the 3rd as well. So we'll be in the area, and then we're going to be out next year a good bit, and I'm sure we'll be up a little closer, if not Albany proper, certainly somewhere in that area. So
well, that would be awesome.
We'll be out all next year.
That's great. Are you looking forward to that? You ready to get out on the road?
Oh, very much so. At this stage of the game, looking forward to a tour is not like it was when I was a kid, where you're
sure.
thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, no one will be able to find me. It'll be heaven. In the old days, it was like getting on a submarine.
Sure.
Bus pulls out of town, and you might as well be, 10,000 feet below sea level for the next year of your life. It's a little different now, of course.
Yeah.
But the thrill of playing shows and the feeling that comes from a gig where everything falls into place, that thing that everybody chases after, you don't get it every night.
Of course.
But the nights you do get it make everything else worth it still. So, that never changes.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the new memoir, Hard to Handle: The Life and Death of the Black Crowes. I was I guess I still am, a huge Black Crowes fan. Obviously, there are millions and millions across the globe. And this is kind of the nitty-gritty, all the warts, the good things, the bad things, all of it in one book.
Well, yeah, that's what my experience was in the band, and it doesn't make sense. It's a memoir; it's not a history.
Right.
It's not an Encyclopedia Britannica book on the Black Crowes. It's just what it was like for me, and what it felt like, and what it looked like, and what it sounded like. And so, there's if you're going to write a book like that, you got to bring the whole kitchen sink. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. I wouldn't see the point of writing anything other than a thorough, honest account of what happened.
Well, and that's what I noticed reading the book was, obviously you place, blame of the death of the Black Crows, squarely at the feet, the Robinson brothers. But you also take, in the book, you're like, hey, dude, I was at fault sometimes too, and I was a jerk here, or I was, whatever, which I think is refreshing because sometimes you read those memoirs and people are like, I was an angel. I never did anything.
No, I mean, that's, a group dynamic. A band is much like a family, and when you have a band that starts around two brothers, it's absolutely a family. And when you have a family, when anybody that's from a family with addiction is going to relate to an awful lot of the book that has nothing to do with the fact that we were a band. When you have addiction, you have codependency, and when you have codependency, you have perceived betrayals, and you have all kinds of things that sow the seeds for a lot of dissonance and a lot of heartache. And there's family loyalty and there's family fighting and all those things. And most importantly, when you have addiction and codependency, you have secrecy.
Yeah,
because it's too hard to face the truth, and you build a culture of let's just put on a good face, and maybe it'll all work out next time. And that was life in the Black Crows. And again, anybody that's had experiences like that, either with any job or with a family or with a relationship, it's all very relatable stuff. I mean, the context is big rock band touring the world. The essence of the band, the narrative arc of the Black Crows, is just like any other group of people with strengths but with terrible weaknesses and an inability to differentiate the two.
What I learned from the book is don't start a band with my brother.
Lesson one. Yeah, I've got 5 brothers. And,
wow.
And we all get along great. And I'm not about to suggest that would be the case if we had ever started a band.
It was funny. I was talking to a couple other people here at the radio station, and we were talking about the book, and we started going down the line and going, brothers and bands don't work, man. Look at the Kinks, look at Oasis, look at all these bands, and we're like naming them off, going, they don't work.
Well, there are the DeLeo brothers and Stone Temple Pilots.
True, that is true.
They get on very well.
Yeah, that is true.
You know what I mean? They managed to do it.
Yep.
There's a lot of bands. I tell you what it is. There's a lot of great brothers in bands, but as long as none of them are the singer, it seems to work a lot better.
Like Van Halen. We're all good. We got a drummer and we got a guitar player, and we're all good.
Yeah. When one of the brothers is the singer, then you are asking for trouble. But it's the very nature of things. It's unfortunate, but it is the reality. I mean, the truth of the matter is the Black Crows stayed around as long as they did, thanks to an awful lot of people with great talent and great heart and great ambition and great resolve, keeping it afloat. And the brothers were the 2 guys that weren't doing any of that. Right. They were at all times they were just destroying each other, and then in effect, a large part of the essence of what made that band great was never able to flourish to the level it should have. But again, with this much hindsight, and it's been 6 years since we've played, and it's been 32 years since we started, it's very easy to see it as, boy, that was a pretty amazing run.
Yeah.
I'm sad about the fact that we didn't do all we should have been able to do. And I'm also thrilled that we did any of it at all. So it's a good, I'm very content with how I landed at the end of the day.
Are you as content? And I got this impression from reading the book. I mean, you said you felt bad for the fans that you didn't get that one last tour performance, whatever. But are you content in leaving the Black Crows in the past and making that this is part of my great past that I respect and love, but it will never come back around again? It's not anything that I'm ever looking to do again.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, it's 6 years gone now, and the essence of the part of the Black Crows that means the most to me is over 20 years gone. Truthfully, we were a very special band for a short amount of time. We were a really good band and then a really good group for a long time. But looking at it now, with this much distance, the truly magical parts of that band are a long, long, long time gone.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. What did you take from that experience when you formed Trigger Hippie?
Well, I didn't sit down and draw up a list. Okay, don't repeat these mistakes. I didn't have to.
Right.
It's like in any endeavor, anything I'm doing now, there's just an innate sense of if my radar goes off and I sense tension's fine, disagreements are fine, but unnecessary tension and tension coming from ego as opposed to a reasonable difference of opinion, I steer clear right away.
Yeah.
So, it wouldn't be here if any of that stuff had ever been a part of the band's. I use the word essence. Like the Black Crowes were fundamentally at each other's throats, and that works for a while, and ultimately, the problem is young bands buy into their own mythology. The Black Crowes thought, well, this tension is what fuels it. And it's like, no, it's not. We just think it does. And, when people talk about when did the cracks appear, well, they were always there. The cracks didn't appear in the band. The cracks appeared in my willingness to pretend that they weren't there to begin with. Yeah, that's what happened.
I think that happens to a lot of bands, unfortunately. I think they start out and, things are great. And then when they start, really the clarity comes through, it's like, what the hell are we doing?
Well, I mean, great huge success early on is ultimately a mirror. And it's a mirror that most people don't want to look at, because it just shows that it's hard to give credit to things that you can't explain. Shake Your Moneymaker didn't sell 5 million copies because it's a great album. People listen to it to this day because it's a great album, but it sold 5 million copies because a whole lot of people we never even met worked their ass off to help us. And if you're unwilling to look at those things and accept that that's the reality, and you want to say no, it's magic and it's destiny, and we're one of those bands, you can do that, but that doesn't serve your purposes long term.
Right.
You find yourself in a tree house, but you're in a tree with no roots. And so, the view is great, but it ain't going to last.
So true. Well, I recommend it to anybody who is a big fan of you and the band and want to know kind of what happened, because I don't think everybody knows what happened to the Black Crowes. It's a great memoir to check out, Hard to Handle, The Life and Death of the Black Crowes, a memoir. And then the new album from Trigger Hippie, Full Circle and Then Some, is really fantastic, and I can't wait to see you guys do some of it live.
Man, I appreciate that very much. We'll definitely get there in 2020.
All right, good deal. Steve, it's a pleasure to talk to you. Have a great rest of your day, man.
Cheers, brother.